Hot mic. We are on the air. This is the SuperfanMax Power Hour in less than 16 minutes presented by the blog. That's a day late, dollar short. This is SuperfanMax, aka Jose Max, reporting you live on a Monday afternoon. How's the weather out there today? Or how was the weather there Monday? Monday was a high of 47, low of 33, but at the time of recording was a sunny 46 degrees with some wind. This afternoon on Monday the 27th. Want to give us a 7-day forecast, Jose? No way, Jose. Let's throw it back to you, Jose. Thanks, Jose. And we're back to the news, or regular broadcasting of our SuperfanMax Power Hour show. Slightly prepared better this week, hopefully. I think so, possibly. I'm still not ready to improv. I listened to last week's episode like I do usually, and I've noticed I did a lot of ums and like I'm doing right now. Even said last week, I do not need to match that. What was I trying to say? I can't even read my own notes. Oh, now I can read it. I am saying and way too much. I have chicken scratch writing, but what are you going to do? So we got two parts this episode. Not going to fully do, saying again, so now I'm thrown off. Not going to fully do two recordings, but this episode is going to be two parts. One is going to be a recap of what my week was last week, what's going on, what's new with me, because I know everybody likes being part of my business. Then I'm going to try and get this episode out either Friday, the 31st, or March 30th, opening day of spring training. So the second part of this episode is going to be about my glory days in baseball. That's the episode. Again, stop saying stop saying is gonna be two parts. First up, part of the episode is going to be what's new with me. Not journal, my weekly about me. Then Glory Days of Baseball. Got it? Good. There we go. So where do I want to start? I want to say right there. I was about to say Do you feel that suspense of me saying or wanting to say No Blackhawks versus St. Louis Blues game. I am working Thursday. I didn't ask for the day off. I forgot to. But I got Monday. That's why I'm recording on this Monday. I have Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday off. Saturday has a one more game day experience this season, so I'm possibly looking at that. But I got a big sports week / month coming up this April. I am trying to go to that game Saturday, so no driving podcast. I think I'm going to go with a couple people. But stop saying Then I am trying to go to that Bulls game the 4th. And the 5th, I am going to the White Sox home opener, not season opener, home opener. That'd be the second game of the season. I already talked about that. Then I bought tickets for the 29th game, so that'd be a good game for me. Busy April. I got a wedding to go to. I talked about that last week. I got that wedding. I got something the 15th. So busy month for me so far, which is pretty good. I've had a pretty lousy March and kind of February. I haven't been doing much, to be honest. Probably should go golfing soon. Or at least the driving range. Practice that swing for the season. Did I mention I'm still not ready for improv? I'm kind of improving right now. Not really. I got my little notes. So yeah, I got a big couple of weeks. What's new with me? Doing laundry this Monday, like usual on my off days. Nothing interesting. Got a nice little walk out there on the treadmill today. Still a little banged up, but the shoulder's been feeling a little better, and the back hasn't been hurting as much. What else am I thinking about talking about? Did I ever talk about forgetting stuff? I feel like I have on this podcast. I don't want to keep reusing the same old, not bits or, what's on my mind, which is very hard because I'm forgetting stuff. Forgetting stuff is the worst, especially when you're, I was opening up the notes app or getting a pen and paper to write this down. I don't even remember what it was I was trying to write down and just completely slipped my mind. That is the worst feeling ever. So losing a thought, one of the worst feelings I think you could possibly have, because I don't even know if it was going to be funny or what it was. Even as just writing a list down or just an incomplete thought, I like to have that note, and I like to try and figure it out later on in life, but don't have that. Just forgot what I was going to write down the other day. Some more housekeeping, I think I would say. We are 1/3 into the season of the show, so hopefully I think I do at least have a system, kind of the show starting to maybe in my mind. I feel like I'm forming a skeleton or a layout of the show. I think so in my mind. I hope you guys as the listener get to see me executing that and think I'm kind of doing something with this show. It's just us executing the plan. That's the only issue, because I know sometimes I have hard times trying to record or get the recordings out, because I start doing stuff during the day and I don't want to do it till the afternoon. Then I'm crunched for time. Another issue, if I don't have time to record, or if I do have time to record, it seems like the turnaround of having a boring week, it's just bad. Because you finally put the recording out on Friday, then even though it's recorded on Tuesday, you got like 4 days to think of something to talk about. Because then it ends up being, oh shit, I got episode 9. What am I going to talk about? Which hopefully doesn't happen this week with all the games I'm going to. So week 9 hopefully should be a fun episode. Come no, pop up no. I'm literally just reading some of my notes, and that's what it says next. After I made that little point about episode 9, it should be fun. Come no, pop up no. I have no idea what that means. See, that's like those incomplete thoughts. I like having stuff written down. It's just fun. I don't know what that means. It's going to bewilder me for a couple days. Then eventually I'll figure it out. I don't know what it means. Come no, pop up no. I don't know what that means. Okay, that's going to bother me for a minute. What are we going to talk about now? Let's get a little weird. Let's talk about my favorite scents. Call it what you want to know. But I like scents. Like watermelon soap is my favorite type of hand soap. If you have watermelon soap at your house, I'm more inclined to wash my hands. It's just, I was going to wash them regardless, but now I feel like I'm going to do it maybe 2-3 times so I get that good watermelon scent on my hands. Lemon scented cleaning supplies, I like that. And I am now adding vanilla to that list. I have a vanilla candle. I don't even light it every day. I have lit it a couple times, but I own a candle. It's a Glade candle, strong scent comes from it. It makes my whole room smell like waffles more than anything, even if it's not even lit up. So it's kind of nice, wake up sometimes and you smell waffles, then you get a little disappointed that there's no waffles in the house. So I should go buy some frozen waffles just for that instance. But yeah, it's a very good scent. I like adding it to my favorite scents. I don't know what some of my favorite scents are. Ooh, I could easily tie that in, but I got a little story about my candle. So I got I'm not allowed to keep my souvenir cups in the kitchen because I have a good bunch of them, or just a bunch of cups I got in over the years. And I got a little table in my room that's next to my desk. And I cleaned up the whole room a couple weeks ago. I got an early break on my spring cleaning, and I had the whole table a little set up, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my candle right there. I lit it, had my room smelling very nice and lovely. Then, like the big bad wolf, I decided to blow it out, and I just got wax all over my cups. So that stinks. So I have to, not stinks, it smells good. But I'm going to have to clean up all those cups. I'll probably do that tomorrow and do my grocery shopping tomorrow, even though I hate doing grocery shopping on my days off because I like doing it when I'm on the clock, even though they specifically say in your orientation, don't buy groceries while on the clock unless it's for like break. And that includes your break. You're supposed to buy stuff within that 15-30 minutes. So I'm never doing my grocery shopping that fast because then people start asking you for stuff. But I like doing it afterwards, not supposed to, probably shouldn't be confessing my crime on a menial podcast like this, but, go upstairs, change really fast, start shopping. like I said, I work in the meat and seafood department, so if I ever need like chicken or steaks, I already put them aside. Go and grab a shopping cart and keep it in the back room. So as soon as I get done with my shift, I could just grab the cart and go. Because I used to work the night shift, like 2 to 10 or 12 to 8. It was mostly like 2 to 10, 2 to 9 or whatever. I was there by closing, so I literally had to do my shopping in like 5 minutes. So I always got stuff accumulated throughout the day, keeping it in the bag, even though you're not supposed to do that for theft reasons. I promise I wasn't stealing. And I was, I had to always do like supermarket sweep the store too. If I needed like chips, I was able to grab them, or I was only grabbing stuff like in my little area. So like I had to grab the milk really fast, my yogurt if I was gonna make smoothies that week. Gotta go grab chips if I wanted chips for a little snack this week. So I was usually sprinting through that store 9:55 just trying to get to the register before they closed. It was kind of fun. I kind of miss it every once in a while because I worked 10 to 6 now, like a normal person, so I could do my shopping after work without having to run. But, it's the thrill, the rush to get that adrenaline pumping. So I hate shopping on my days off because nobody likes to go to their job on their day off, regardless. And I also hate it when some people in my house, my family members, when they got to go to the store and they like go while I'm at work. I'm like, I'm there 8 hours a day, 8+ hours a day. Why don't you just text me to go and get it for you afterwards? It's not even like sometimes they're pulling up to the house at the same time as me. So it's not like they needed it earlier. They like wanted it at the same time as I was at work. Like that bothers me. I'm like, why do we both got to waste our time? And I'm getting paid for my time, so that's even better. So that's my gripe with grocery shopping. I'm going to do some grocery shopping tomorrow. Get some spinach. I got carrots at the house. Probably get some chicken. I think I'm running low on chicken. I bought a bunch of chicken on 99 cents, so just get a small pack. Hopefully it's on sale Wednesday when I start going back to work or go back to work. What else we going to talk about in the first half of this show? Oh, dang, I messed up my scents part. I could easily, tease. So go back to that a couple minutes ago. Talk about my favorite scents: watermelon soap, lemon soap, vanilla candle. Another favorite smell of mine is grilled onion smell. Oh man, walking in that U.S. Cellular Field, guaranteed rate, Kaminsky Park, whatever you call it, you get that onion smell bouncing off that concrete rafters, hitting your nose, crawling up it, doing a little tickle on the nostrils, and pulling you in and making you want to buy a Polish sausage or a grilled hot dog or something with that onion smell. I love the smell of grilled onions too, especially with baseball season coming up. And I only mention baseball season because we're going to talk about the glory days in a little bit. And it sucks that I'm now mentioning my sports days as glory days and I'm only 22. So, 10 years ago were my glory days of sports. I've peaked. I think I got one more sports season in me, though. Get back in good shape, really good shape. If I go back to college, I'm already picturing it, build my schedule around lacrosse, kind of. Take all my classes in the beginning of the year. So by the time it circles around the lacrosse season, I got like maybe 2-3 classes that I got to do. Could just focus on the sport, lacrosse, because I know in a perfect world, if I get my scenario, I got like 3 classes that aren't even like really classes, like an internship and a seminar class where you just talk about life and stuff. Put those 2 little classes together, I become an athlete that lasts couple months of school. Not a student athlete, just an athlete that so happens to be a student. I would love that. Be a nice, good send-off to my athletic career, my academic career at the moment. So if I ever go back to school, I'm going in peak shape, like an action figure, ready to just kill anybody on the lacrosse field safely, hands together. Not that little open bar stuff. I hate that little. It's not crossbar, but it's a loud type garbage. Well, you don't have your hands together, but you have them close enough where the ref won't call it. But you know what I'm talking about if you're a lacrosse player. And I'm that type of lacrosse player. I didn't make the baseball team. Little teaser. Didn't make the baseball team, so I'm a lacrosse player. Just a couple more notes before we get to that. I gotta do my NKD underwear ad read too, so that would have been a perfect time. Yeah, we'll do that before. Yeah. Oh, I got another microphone for the podcast. Still trying to figure it out. Still another Joan V mic, the mic I'm using at the moment. I got another one because it was on sale. It dropped down from like 20 something bucks to 11. So I had to jump on that deal before it went away because I know it jumped down to 11 a while back, but I was like, I don't need a second microphone, but I still don't even need one right now, but at the moment I just bought it just in case. Why not? I still can't I'm upset. I kind of figured out how to do it on the laptop where you could put the two mics, but I can't get two lines of audio. Still working on that. I think I managed to make the two microphones work at the same time. And I did it once, but I did it with the Jovi mic, and I had one of the lapel mics built into put into the laptop. So that was technically one line was the Jovi mic, the other was the built-in input audio. So I was able to do it like that. But I still can't figure out how to do it with the two actual microphones because I like having these microphones there. You could hold it. I love holding the microphone for some reason. Plus, you could set it down. It's got a good bass. The lapel mic, you got to put it on the shirt and stuff. I don't entirely like that unless you have to. I've also got to figure the lapel mics out for the phones because I mentioned it a while back that I kind of got it. But when I was trying to figure out how to get the Jovi mics onto the phone, because I record on the phone, makes the podcast more mobile, I had I don't know if it's called a dongle, but it's you insert it into the iPhone like a regular USB, and it's got like an iPhone charger, and it's got a USB port on the end, so I'm able to put the Jovi mic in there. I bought a little tower of sorts where you could put 3 USBs in there, and I was trying to plug them all in, but it turns out the iPhone is only able to have one microphone, so even if I have both plugged in, it only picks up the audio on one of them, so it becomes a little useless, so I gotta return that. But I think you could kind of do it with the lapel mics. I'm not 100% sure, because they sell Y splitting adapters, and some people are saying it works, some people aren't saying it does. Like I said, I kind of thought it worked last week when I was testing on my own, because I got a Y splitter of sorts, and I got to figure it out totally if it works or not. So I will be working on that, because I do have plans to take the podcast on the road, hopefully. But I think that's the rest of the housekeeping. I got to do a little recording, a little half episode. So if you're listening to this, you're listening it to on YouTube. The little video vignette or little half episode is going to be on SoundCloud, because I got to try and get people from SoundCloud to YouTube. Unfortunately, like I said last week, I'm running out of minutes. I got 31 minutes left, so I'm going to take that last 30 minutes and make an episode just to tell people, hey, I love you guys on SoundCloud. I'm sorry about it. We got to go to YouTube or the blog. You can also listen to this video or podcast on the blog as well. Got to plug in the blog. I love the blog. I blogged a couple things. I'm working on one blog right now, a little chronicle. I still have it, a work chronicle. That was my favorite blog. Not favorite blog. It was a regular blog of mine, same as the Monday morning quarterback, where I recap the Bears game. Then I would always do a Friday preview of the Bears game. What other blogs did I have? Series regulars. I had my weekly pick'em. That was on Thursdays morning, so you'd be ready to pick your winner out for that Thursday night game. Then another blog that I had, not weekly, but reoccurring, was the Work Chronicles, like I'm working on, and we are adding a new one. It's a working title. It's New Hat Alert or Hat something. It's got to be. I'm a hat collector of sorts. I got a blog up about it the other day. Well, I like talking about hats, or I'm a big sports memorabilia collector, hat collector for sure. And I want to showcase my hat collection, so I'm kind of reviewing, just talking about the new hats that I put into the hatmosphere of sorts. And I got one up about the Chicago Bears. I got a 1946 classic logo winter hat, so check that blog out. I will have that into the comments section below. Link to the blog, or just in general, the hat blog, or the blog in general. So that's going to be a weekly occurring thing. But yeah, I'm working on a work chronicle right now. A little teaser to that. It's about idiot coworkers. We all got idiot coworkers. I'm not the idiot. They're the idiots. But then there's that other guy looking at me and the other coworker thinking we're the idiots. Then the whole company's run by idiots, but I'm not the idiot because I'm smart. It's me. So it's a little fun blog about that. This would be the 5th work chronicle, I believe. So take a look out for that as well. And I think that's all the housekeeping right here. I'm going to work on that half episode. Probably going to put a link in the comments like I usually do on the YouTube page. Just so if you're a loyal listener, you want to listen to everything that I've ever produced, you'll be able to check that out. But besides that, I think we're just going to throw it back in time and talk about the glory days right after this commercial break. It's week... We're keeping that in an episode. It's week 8. You know the drill by now. Go to WhereNKD and use promo code Perez.Josemax for 40% off and free shipping. Lots of bundles to choose from. The date night, it's getting serious, the weekender, or the one night stand bundle. A selection of bottoms to choose from as well. The weekend thong, the cheeky bikini that also comes in black, and the classic thong. They also have a nice lacy bralette. All reasonably priced items ranging from $17 to $49 before you use promo code Perez.Josemax, which will get you 40% off and free shipping. So that's going to lower those prices from $17 to whatever 40% off is. So you got to go check out that deal. It's a great deal. Come on, you got a girlfriend, you got a mistress, you got someone in your life that's got a butt and they need to put underwear on it. So use this promo code Perez.Josemax for that 40% off. And trust me, you dirty dog, you're going to like looking at it, so you're going to need some good karma for lusting over this underwear. Go with NKD underwear because it's a great product. It's a good quality product. And for every pair of underwear you buy, they donate an equal set to a women's shelter. And underwear is the number one thing that women/homeless shelters surprisingly need. And that's an all year round thing, not just a holiday thing. This is their mission statement. That is what they are about. You can learn more about NKD underwear by going to their website, wearnkd.com. That's WEARNKD.com. And check out their products. Look at their Instagram of @NKD underwear. And remember, use promo code Perez.Josemax for 40% off and free shipping. It's a great deal. It's a great product. Go buy NKD underwear. Thank you. Please do so. Don't wanna be too mean with the commands on ads. I thought that was funny. I saw my voice just going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Just like that on the recording. So like I said, we did my housekeeping. We did the commercial ad. We got that weather. So I think it's time just to throw it back to those glory days. Yep, we're talking about those glory days of baseball. Got to put the sound lower in the back. Don't want to get written up for copyright. Yeah, I don't really have ads anyway, so sue me. Friend who's basically a baseball player back in high school, never reached the high school level. Yep, we're talking about the glory days of baseball, my glory days of baseball. Where do we want to start with that? See, I played baseball from... Well, I can't remember specifically. I know I was told that if I had to be 3, I started at 2. If you had to be 4, I started at 3. I started playing baseball a year before I was supposed to. My parents just signed me up, lied about my age, and they threw me into baseball. So I played baseball at a very early age on, like I said, 2 3. We'll stick with 2 because it's the glory days. You embellish on your glory days. And I know that was like a small little park league where they were just teaching you the fundamentals, ground a baseball, throw a baseball, hit off a tee. Nothing crazy. So I believe that was at Donovan Park or Bosley Park, little parks in the south side of Chicago, Bridgeport area where I'm from. But eventually I went on to play at McGuane Park. And I remember every baseball team I played on throughout the years. It was the first t-ball team I played with was the Blue Jays. Then I went to the White Sox, Cardinals, the Cubs, the Brewers, the Mets, and the Giants for my last year. And I hope that was all the teams because, like I said, I'd be a liar because I said I could name them all. But yeah, those were my teams: the Blue Jays, White Sox, Cardinals, Cubs, Brewers. What was the last one? Brewers, Mets, and Giants. And like any team, you got your stories. So I guess we'll start off at T-ball. Not much there. I remember I had a gray uniform. Don't even remember the name. Not name, number, I should say. I still got my hat. We were the gray Blue Jays, so that early 2004, 2005, where they got that weird, funky logo. I have that hat. I thought the Blue Jays was so cool of a name / team. That bird looks so cool. Looking back at it, it's like it's kind of a goofy looking logo, but that was my T-ball team. That's where I learned how to play the game, kind of. I don't even know what position I played at that level. Does anybody remember? I bet some people remember their position that they played in T-ball. Yeah, Blue Jays was my first team. I remember we had this coach, not that very old of a guy. He went to my birthday party because his daughter was on the team. I think her name was Patience. I know I'm not big on giving out names and stuff, but all I remember was the name Patience. And they were kind of weird, like, I don't want to say hippies, but they all had like weird names like the kids, like our younger siblings, like were like Hope, Justice or something. Then I think there was a boy in there too. I forget his name. But yeah, he was a nice coach. He was my coach. I remember him. He went to my a birthday party, and they got me a baseball bag, a blue baseball bag. Then they ended up moving to Alaska at the end of the season, or at the end of the year. They moved to Alaska, so that's all I remember about that coach and my Blue Jay season. Then I went on to play at the White Sox. I think that was a T-ball level still. Yeah, it was T-ball still. Because later on would be, I don't want to jump too ahead, but yeah, it was still baseball, White Sox. My dad was the coach, and of course he pulled the strings because I'm his son. A little nepotism, but it never hurts. He got me the number 14, so I was number 14, which is very nice. I was a big Paul Konerko fan. Still am a big Paul Konerko fan. So it was very nice. I got to wear his jersey, number 14, for at least one of the years. Especially coming off that, this was 2006. I got the little trophy bobblehead on my dresser still. Coming right off the World Series season, so I got to wear number 14, which was pretty cool. Once again, don't remember what position I was. Another thing I remember about that season was I was playing at the park, and some kid pushed me, so I twisted my ankle. So I think that was one of the first games I didn't play in because I just couldn't run because I twisted my ankle messing around at the park. So there's that. Remember we had this crazy kid on our team. I shouldn't really label him crazy. I don't even want to talk about this, but I'm going to anyways. Why not? You know, his parents were splitting up at the time, acting out negatively. So his dad was also the coach. So him and his dad were just getting in screaming matches. And there's my poor dad just trying to hit us ground balls or try and show us how to throw. And, you know, it was very nice. My dad was the coach. He didn't coach many of my sports. I know he coached baseball there for maybe 1 or 2 years. He coached my flag football team. He was probably bigger or more of a help in the flag football team because he played football in high school and stuff, and he just loved the game of football. Didn't ever play organized baseball, or I think back in the day they always played softball. Him and the neighborhood kids and his siblings. So he knew enough. It's the t-ball level. You're mostly babysitting and trying to show us what to do. So he's a great coach at that level. So that was very nice. I should thank him or mention it. I loved it when he was my coach. Because, this is one of those things where you think about it now. You don't think about it as a kid. There's a special moment in time back in the day where he's coaching you. And I hope to do the same thing eventually when I have a kid. But first you got to get laid to have a kid. So that's more down the line. Anyways. I got to wear number 14. I had the White Sox as the White Sox. As a White Sox. No S. Well, you throw that S in there as a Chicagoan. So where are we moving on next? To the Cardinals. So it's got to be 2000. Yeah, it's 2008 because I was in the White Sox from 2006 and 2007. I always never got that in sports when they're like I get it for football, baseball, and hockey. No, not baseball. For football, basketball, and hockey where they're like the 2021-22 season or the 22-23 season. Did I also think we were 2021 there for a second? Yes. I get it when it's like the 22-23 season because it starts in October and it goes on to the next year. I never got that for baseball, though. Baseball's from March to October. Why don't they just call it the 2021 season or 2022 season? Why do they go 21-22 season? There's no overlap of 2 years. Granted, I'm also at the little league level, so there's no point in also adding that other number. Like I was saying, I played from the Sox from the 2006 season, 2007 season, 2008 season. I believe there was a draft. I got drafted to the Cardinals. Make it sound like a pro player. Got drafted to the Cardinals. And that was the rookie level. Once you leave T-ball, you're on the rookie level. And that's where they did, I think, maybe 5 innings. And 5 innings of play, maybe 7. I think it was 5. And that was coach pitch 1 inning, the first inning. Then the second inning, second, third, fourth inning were kid pitch. Then the 5th inning was coach pitch again. So that's where you first learn how to really hit a ball, which is very good. I remember I had a great coach, Tom Pasiak. I know I don't like giving names, but I'm going to give out his name. I already did. I'm not going to go back and edit it. Thank you, Coach Tom, or Coach Pasiak, whichever one you want to go by. He was a very competitive coach, and he installed in me and on my teammates the practice like you play. It's a very simple quote. There's been many quotes about it throughout history. So probably not original, maybe original phrasing from him because he wanted to keep it simple because we're 8-year-olds. But many different quotes. George Halas said if you wouldn't do it in practice, you don't do it in a game. Did he say that one? Did Coach Halas say that? I'm getting off track. Let's pause the podcast for a second. Nope, we're not going to pause because I missed that pause. George Halas, practice quotes. I'm going off track. We're talking about baseball, not football. I think that's the quote. Don't do anything in practice that you wouldn't do in a game. So pretty much the same thing. Practice like you play. It's a very simple quote. He broke it down for us. And that quote has always stuck with me at any division of sports from 2008 in the Little League, playing in football, even playing in recess in school or academically. I wouldn't mess around in class or I wouldn't mess around anywhere else. Why am I going to mess around at home? It just stuck with me. It's hard to explain, but that quote has always stuck with me throughout my sporting career and work life. And school. I feel like it works by even if the manager's not here, you're not going to mess around. You got to act like practice or take importance on what you're doing because eventually it's going to come around and you got to be able to perform at an excellent level. I'm breaking this quote down. That's not what he was telling us back in the day. But that quote always stuck with me. Practice like you play. So I'm very appreciative of Coach Pasiak putting that quote in my life and being a good coach. And that coaching, maybe it was a combination of players, combination of us, his coaching, because he was your first time hitting live balls being thrown at you. He was very big on, hey, parents, we're going to have to practice outside of work or outside of practice time. Give me a call, and we'll set up a time where we'll go to the park, me, you, and the kid, and we just go on the tennis courts, try hitting tennis balls and whatever. And that's where he really taught me how to hit a baseball. That hard work and dedication led to my first championship at the baseball level and only championship level. And, I love that team. It was a great team to play with. I love the kids that were on their team. That's another thing when you play baseball in 2008 or around that time. Kids didn't have phones. So you knew kids from the park and on your team. And I don't know, maybe you'd be lucky if they still played at the park the next year. Because after that team split up, if they went somewhere else, they moved away, you probably never saw those kids again. And I probably didn't see half that team ever again, which was a little weird or crazy to think about. You just have one shot with that team because I don't have any of those kids' phone numbers. Never learned any of those kids' last names because you're a kid. You always go by the first name anyways, so I have no idea how to look those kids up. So it was very special playing with those kids. It was a great team, my first championship win and only win. And a really special thing about that season was, like I said, we used to play at McGuane Park, but for some reason, I don't know if Coach, he knew some people at the park. He probably did, obviously. So we never practiced at McGuane Park very often. We'd always practice at Armour Park. And if you know where Armour Park is, that's that park right by U.S. Cellular Field. So, we're learning how to play baseball, and you're just in the shadow of U.S. Cellular Field. And, I don't know if I thought about it. I'm pretty sure somebody else might have said it. It's like you're playing on this little patch of grass because we never practice on the dirt for some reason, always. But we were practicing on this little patch of dirt or a little patch of grass right there by the tennis courts. You could see through the parking lot and that stadium. You're just practicing. One day you're here, and maybe one day, if you're ever so lucky, you could be playing on U.S. Cellular Field. And I always wish I had that dream or was able to accomplish that dream. Unfortunately, I never reached that level. And, it was just very cool seeing that, too. You're playing in those shadows because you also see every once in a while the De La Salle High School team. You would see those kids walking into the stadium, and you're like, man, one day I could be in the high school level playing at that stadium. And always, kept me motivated that year, even though I don't think I needed motivation because I loved playing baseball. I loved watching baseball. Even though I was never a big stats guy or anything. I always liked watching the White Sox. I liked rooting against the Cubs because WGN was still the Cubs provider, so you'd always get those day games and you'd flip around and watch those every once in a while. So it was very cool just practicing in those shadows because then you had that dream, hopefully that'd be you. What else happened at that level of baseball? This good drill for those kids listening to this podcast or parents listening to this podcast. Get your kid a stick. Find a stick at the park and a tree. You just want any terrible looking stick, a good strong stick, and you want to hit it on the tree. But that's not the point. You want to also learn how to open your hips because you could just bang that stick against the tree. But the moment you turn your hips, when you swing, you get more power and you could break that stick. That was one of the drills he taught us at that age for some reason. And that was this very, not weird, very unique, very different perspective on the sport or utilizing a drill and how to finally use that in the game. I never really had that at one point, but it was very cool because I'm only 8 years old, only 4 years in sports, and you're able to like finally put 1 and 2 together. Maybe you could kind of say it's like an off-season training, like when you're starting to lift weights. When you're older, you learn like, oh, if I squat now, I'm figuring out how to squat in the game, and that's why I'm squatting now. Like it works in a sense, like you're figuring out how the body works and the configuration of what you're doing on the off field or off season or off the field and how it applies to the game. And even in the simple drill, you're learning to open up your hips to break the stick. If you don't break the stick, you have no power. If you don't break the stick, there's no power. Once you open up your hips, you have power. Break the stick, you apply that to baseball, you open up your hips while swinging, you're cracking that ball a couple hundred feet. I used to hit them a couple hundred feet. Once again, glory days, you embellish your story a little bit. So hopefully that story made sense. I'm trying to think what else happened that year besides the championship game. I don't even know who we played in the championship because we killed them. We had a pretty good record. I think we only lost like 2 games. I played. That's when I was first starting to learn how to play third base, but I think I got moved to the outfield because you're still at the young level where, you know, if you're not good, you just go play in the outfield because, yes, balls are getting hit out there, but not as much. And that's why I learned to appreciate the outfield a little more because, like anybody at that age level where you're like, hey, if you're playing outfield, you're bad. You're away from the action because balls aren't going over there. And I also took that as a little bit of a slight. But to my mom, for some reason, she put 1 and 2 together. She's like, you like Jermaine Dye? Remember Jermaine Dye? He used to play outfield. And I took that to heart. And I was like, yeah, Jermaine Dye, he's a good baseball player. He's in the outfield for a reason. So I was also like, man, that's a very good point that you need the outfielders, even if they're not necessarily needed every play at that level. So I got to play the outfield. I had my role. It's okay. Maybe that was a little too early in the story. I feel like that was a lot later on in my baseball career, but I'm just going to say that part of the story now because I remembered it. And thanks to my mom, that always struck a chord with me when it came to playing the outfield in baseball. When I was with the Cardinals that first year, I was playing I played third base. I played outfield. Then I was trying to play catcher, but I never played with the cup. And I guess people freaked out one time because I guess the helmet came off of me when I was behind the plate. I never noticed it. I had no idea what people were talking about at one point. They're like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? The helmet fell off." I'm like, "Did it?" I honestly never noticed the helmet fell off. I wish I stuck with catcher too, because catcher, I don't know why, it looks so cool. You got all that equipment on. You're behind the plate. You're commanding. Then you could take the helmet off too at some point. I don't know. I love playing catcher, even though I never played with the cup, and I didn't realize that it was very stupid. So like maybe after that season, and I think my mom mentioned something about a cup because you're a young boy, you don't want to get hit there, obviously. And I was like, I don't want to wear a cup, so I never got to play catcher again. I used to play catcher in T-ball too, which was just stupid. I loved wearing that stupid helmet, so maybe I should have stuck with catcher a lot more in my career. But yeah, I loved playing catcher that one year. Then I was on the Cardinals another year. I think Coach, he moved up with his oldest son, Chuck. We'll just call him Chuck. I don't want to give out the name. But he had some influence because his younger son was also on my team. So I got some interactions with him, but not fully. Then, yeah, we didn't do as good that year because a lot of the older kids and the team got broken up. Like I said, that's what happened at the end of the year. But I felt like we had a pretty good run. We just didn't repeat, unfortunately. So that always stunk. I got one more fact about the first year, the 2008 season. I actually went to the Smoky Mountains in the middle of the season. Just, what you do when you're 8, you just go on vacation. So I remember them calling, my coach called my dad with everybody in the background celebrating that we clinched the playoff. So that was very cool. And I wasn't a part about the playoff clinch, but I at least got the recording, which was very cool. Uh, yeah. Was I in the Cardinal maybe 3 years or something? Maybe I was because I can't remember why. But there was another year where me and Coach Pasiak, after that year separation, we got put back on the same team. Because I remember them when I got drafted again. I think I moved up the level, which was the minor league level, which was all kid pitch. And him calling saying, "Hey Max, you're gonna be on my team. We're back together." And Forrest Gump was on at the house, and they were talking. Remember when Forrest Gump says we're like two peas in a pod, Jenny? My dad and was saying that, and he's like, "You and Coach Pacey act like peas and Q's, like two peas in a pod," whatever Forrest Gump said. Because I was back on that team, but I don't remember that. I don't know why me and him got on the same team again. That's very strange. I don't remember that, but I had Coach Pasiak for a couple years, and that's where he taught us how to bunt because I think you were able to bunt at the minor league level, and I think you were no, I don't think you were allowed to take leadoffs yet. You were at least able to bunt. You weren't able to take off leadoffs ever. You were only able to relieve when the ball left the pitcher's hand, but that's later on in my career. So yeah, at that level, I don't think you're allowed to steal either. I think all you're allowed to do is bunt as an added bonus to the minor league level because you're still learning the fundamentals. Yeah, I want to say I played for the Cardinals maybe 3 years in a row. Now that I think about it, I gotta look at my hats. But yeah, for some reason I was with Coach Pasiak. He taught us the bunt sign. I remember that because I used that once or twice against him. I didn't know sign stealing was a thing in baseball, but it is till later on in life. But yeah, I would steal that sign. It was you take your two fists. He'd be like trying to like tell you to choke up on the bat, but once he hit his two fists together, that would be the bunt signal. So it's like, hey, come on, man, you got this. And he hit his hands, and it'd be like, oh, we're going for a bunt here. But like I said, I don't remember how exactly that season went out. I'm assuming we did okay. Learned some more fundamentals. Yeah, I'm just going to end. That's got to be my 2010 season. Then we're going to 2011. And that's where I joined the dreaded Cubs. At the minor league level, I was at the Cubs. Yeah. That has to be the story because I never played for Coach Pasiak past, I think, that level. I never played for him again. I always played against him. And he always liked looking out for me and playing against me because he always thought I was a good player. So it was always good thing for him to look out for and stuff. And I always loved playing against him. Hey, you didn't... I don't want to say I was slighted because I'm pretty sure he wanted to take me on his team. But he had other kids and kids he needed to get on his team first. Because that was another thing. If you drafted a team, or if you stayed at the same like level of that sport at that age group. So if you were on the minors 1 year, even though the name changed, you would still inherit that team. So if you got 10 kids already staying on that team and not being split up, you're only drafting so many kids. So I'm assuming that's what happened. Because I know he had a couple siblings, and I think if you took one sibling, the rule was you had to take all the siblings. So if you're taking your son, you had two sons, you're taking two spots right there. If you're taking one of the twins, and that kid that was fighting with his coach, you got 3 kids already on your team. That's 5 kids, plus whatever's on the team already. So I never got to go back on his team. So maybe a little competitively, I felt a little slighted, like I always wanted to be back on Coach Pasiak's team, but I never got to. So I was like, hey, if you don't want me, even though that's probably not the case, I made up in my mind, hey, you don't want me, I'm going to show you why you want me. And I always played hard against his White Sox teams because he was always the White Sox higher up instead of the Cardinals. But once again, I'm jumping ahead. This was the Cubs season, the dreaded Cubs. So unfortunately, there is a picture of me in a Cubs uniform out there. I know we saved that hat. I think my dad's he had it on his buffet at our house because he always had the hats already put away with all my other hats, but he always kept that one displayed, mightily proud. And in that season, we made it to the championships, but we couldn't break the curse. And maybe it was this year, or it was my last year with Coach Pasiak. Oh, I got another good Coach Pasiak story. We were practicing at Harmer Park, and he was hitting skyrockets. He's got grown man strength. He's hitting balls up to, 500 feet in the air. Once again, embellishing, but it's glory day. We're catching them. And one kid, he forgot his glove. So me and him are switching off with the glove because he had like a first baseman's glove. I had a regular glove. It was stupid why we were switching off. That was one of the big things in baseball. My dad was always teaching me, like, hey, stop letting people use your equipment. Not being nice, just it's your stuff. Don't let others use it. So he's like, take a ball. And, okay, so I finally switched my glove. I told the other kid, hey, we're not switching. Coach Pasiak, he hits a skyrocket up. I'm catching him. We're just going to go with this, the third one. I finally get my glove back. He hits a skyrocket. That ball is high in the air. I'm tracking it. I'm 2 inches too far ahead of it. That ball cracks me straight in the head. And I probably had a concussion. That's probably one of my first concussions in sports, if anything. But once again, you're a dumb kid. Oh, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm not bleeding. I'm good. Then a couple weeks later, it's warming up. Coach Pasiak, he hits another sky-high ball. I'm reaching too far for the ball. The ball comes straight at my nose, cracks me in the nose. Oh, my God. That ball hurt so bad. It bruised up my nose. It looked like I had, like, black little freckles on my nose for maybe a week and a half. I remember crying because you ever get hit in the nose, that thing just stings, makes you all teary-eyed and stuff. I'm crying and yelling. I'm quitting baseball. And my dad takes me to the hospital because I'm like, he's like, do you think it's broken? I'm a kid. I think it is. I don't know. We're in the hospital all day. They're x-raying me. This is one of my first x-rays, I believe. They're x-raying my face, and they're like, everything's fine. It's just a bad bruise. Hopefully the bruising goes away. And I think I might have missed practice maybe 1 or 2 times afterwards because I was like, I don't want to play baseball again, whatever. Maybe I at least missed one. I was like, I don't want to play anymore. Then I think my dad convinced me, my mom convinced me. They're like, let's go practice some more. Went back to practice, and thank God they didn't let me quit. And I went on and played baseball again after a 1 week hiatus, if that. My sister's not going to like this one, but my sister has a little bit of my baseball career in me too, or has that little part in me. We were doing the bunting drill. We had to bunt and run the first. Oh, this concludes the first part of this episode. We're going to pause and pick up later on in the week. I'm off tomorrow.